On the news, federal government links ESN to murder of 2 policemen, promises justice for slain cops. IPOB gives government conditions to suspend secessionist agitations. And Sanwo-Olu to release white paper on Lagos #EndSARS report today. We're glad to have you join us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. The federal government has said the recent murder of 2 policemen in the southeast will not go unpunished. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, gave the assurance during a press conference in Lagos on Monday. Mohammed also accused the Eastern Security Network, ESN, an outfit of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, of beheading the 2 police officers. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari, in a statement through his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, has condoled with the families of policemen reportedly murdered in the southeast. Buhari, while condemning the act, equally sympathized with all those who have lost loved ones in the different theaters of insecurity that had rocked the country. Well, still on insecurity in the southeast, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has made clear its demand from the federal government. In a statement on Monday, the secessionist group says it will suspend its agitation if the federal government sets a date to hold a referendum on the secession of the southeast. IPOB also clarified that it is not against restructuring, but that restoring of Biafra state is the demand of the group. IPOB reiterated that the sit-at-home order has been suspended while warning those attacking residents of the southeast in the name of unknown gunmen to desist from the act. Well, joining me now to discuss this further is Public Affairs Analyst Mr. Nelson Ekujimi. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, policemen in recent times have come under heavy attacks. How bad is the situation really, especially when one considers how understaffed the police force is and the height of insecurity in the country?
Well, thank you very much. It's unfortunate that we are in perilous times, that people don't recognize that the only environment, the only system that can allow them to ventilate their grievances is when there is law and order. Unfortunately, we live in a terrible time where we don't have elders to mentor the youths to recognize that where your right ends is where the other man's right begins. That, no matter how aggrieved we are, we should toe the line of civility. We should toe the line of peaceful resolution of our grievances. And unfortunately, as poorly, as understaffed as we are, police-wise, we have seen our security agencies come under relentless attack, even from their kinsmen, because these security agencies are not spirits. They are not angels. They are Nigerians. They are fathers in homes. They are husbands to some women. They are children to some parents. They are uncles. They are aunts. It's unfortunate that we are gradually losing our humanity. If not, I see no reason why anybody will attack those who are entrusted with the responsibility to protect life and property.
Now, the indigenous people of Biafra, I'm sorry to cut you short there. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, have clearly spelled out their desire, which is for the federal government to organize a referendum on the separation of the southeast from Nigeria. What do you make of this?
Well, I regard that as a joke. It's a joke taken too far, because we are a country governed by laws. And under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to which elected representatives from the southeast region have also sworn on oath, there's nowhere there's that provision for a referendum. And we must make it clear. We must send this message to the people of the southeast. Is it that they want to surrender their sovereignty to this so-called IPOB? Because I recognize that there are 1,001 socio-cultural groups or what have you in the southeast. And for a group of persons coming under the banner of using violence to agitate, I think it is unacceptable. It is condemnable in every sense of the word. So if they are calling for a referendum, we want the elected representatives of the Southeast. Don't forget, the Southeast have governors who were elected under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and who have sworn oath to uphold the Constitution. They have commissioners. They have state House of Assemblies. They have members of the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Representatives. And these are the elected representatives or the mouthpiece of the people of the Southeast. If we succumb to this threat by this terrorist group that has been proscribed under the laws of Nigeria, they will be surrendering our sovereignty. So for me, I think that's a joke that no serious-minded person of the Southeast should even ponder about. One has had engagements with people of the Southeast, and they have always distanced themselves from this group called IPOB that has been proscribed, that has even been labeled a terrorist group under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I expect that the security agencies, as time goes on, will do the needful with regards to the violent agitation of this group and make sure and send out the clear message that, look, this is a society that is built on law and order. And under those circumstances, will a group of people come under any guise, under any sort of agitations or demand, to try and trample.
Up to there, but I'd like to get your response to this. It's quite interesting that Article 1 of the UN Charter states the right to self-determination. How do we then now strike a balance in the case of Nigeria?
The Article of the United Nations is not the same as the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When we are talking about self-determination, you have to define it. Self-determination in terms of the people deciding whether they want to operate. Is it a local government democratic system or a local government system of government in another form? When you are talking about self-determination, let us have a clear definition of what you mean by that word. Because once you have a state or a people are embedded within the geographical location or the geographical territory called Nigeria, they are bound by the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So when you are talking about self-determination, I don't know where you are determining self, except if you are saying that, the people in that area are looking at another law and not the law governing, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because I don't know any territory in the world where that Article 1 of the United Nations governs. In as much as it gives you, in as much as the Constitution of Nigeria, for which some parts are signatories, we are signatories to international charter, there's no part of the Constitution of Nigeria that, gives you the right to self-determine how you want to be governed.
Well, indeed, Mr. Ekujimi, but sorry, is this much you can take on the topic? But Public Affairs Analyst Nelson Ekujimi, many thanks for your contributions. Now moving on, the Senate has mandated its Committee on Interior to carry out a full-scale investigation into the causes of jailbreaks across the country. The Upper Legislative Chamber also summoned the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, and the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Haliru Nababa, over the jailbreak at the Jos Medium Security Correctional Center. The summons, according to the Senate, is to find a lasting solution to the incessant cases of jailbreaks across the country and to prefer solutions that will forestall future occurrences. The resolution was sequel to a motion of urgent national importance on incessant report on jailbreaks in the country brought before the Senate by Estefanos Giang on the backdrop of 5 cases recorded in the country so far.
9 of the inmates were killed in the attack. One of the bandits was also killed. One officer lost his life during the attack. 252 inmates escaped and are now at large. 6 persons who are also inmates were fatally injured. 10 of the escapees have been rearrested. And out of the 252 inmates that escaped, 63 were condemned criminals who had been sentenced to death, equally aware that the warders put up a fight against the invaders but were overwhelmed, leaving behind a slain warder in the person of Umar Mohammed, who lost his life in a gallant gun battle against the attackers.
The lawmakers also called for more funding and personnel as a way to fortify correctional centers in the country.
Can we create a special department here to address issues of intelligence gathering, to find out the resource? And secondly, it might look crazy, but I think what we are going through now is good enough to call off for a day or a week set aside by all Nigerians to come out en masse wherever we find ourselves, in villages. Let's go and address this issue of security and call a collective effort with traditional rulers, students, opinion molders, market people. We shall find solution to it.
The correctional centers, that is our former prison system, is the weakest link in our criminal justice system in the country. We have had challenges, of course, with the police, we have challenges with the judiciary, but the correctional centers are the ones in which this country has not made the kind of investments that are required. So something really serious must be done to address the issue.
The Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, has revealed an unprecedented level of corruption and flagrant human rights violation in Nigeria since the return to democratic rule over 20 years ago. The findings are contained in its Democracy Watch report launched in Abuja on Monday. The Center for Democracy and Development, in its report, examines the state of democracy in Nigeria since May 1999. Our correspondent, Abisola Adebayo, now reports.
Corruption in Nigeria is best described as perverse and endemic, a social vice that has given Nigeria the reputation of being one of the most corrupt countries in the world. To address the nation's badly tarnished reputation, former President Olusegun Obasanjo on September 29, 2000 inaugurated the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. To appraise the state of democracy in Nigeria since May 1999, as well as critique corruption campaigns of past democracies, the Center for Democracy and Development, in its Democracy Watch report, reviewed successive governments' failure to accommodate opposition.
You find that in the period of Obasanjo regime, the Udi massacre, the Zaki Ibiam were example. When it came to the Yaradua administration, we had the likes of Boko Haram. The killing of the leader of Boko Haram, his in-law Babafugo Ahmed, and over 700 extrajudicially killed in the light of trying to counter security or addressing security issues, and of course the most recent being the IMN itself, the killing of IMN, IPOB, unarmed IPOB earlier in the tenure of this administration, and the most recent is the NSAS itself. So each administration there has been a deterioration.
The ugly experiences notwithstanding, Nigeria has had notable achievements which calls for proactive rather than reactive interventions.
We have not been able to bring so much benefit to people in terms of their expectations for material upliftment. And this raises a fundamental question about the expectation of democracy. Given the level of poverty, the level of inequality, not just inequality in social terms, but across geopolitical and regional zones, one would have expected a very ambitious program of development. But this hasn't happened. And part of the question is that we have been blindly trying to build a liberal democratic order that has not factored in the importance of welfare of the people. So we really need to interrogate our type of democracy.
We need to build a broad national consensus around the key pillars and goals of development and ensure that every political party, whichever one among them comes into power, abide by those key pillars and implement them in a way that will ensure continuity in the policy process. And there are many other things that one can say.
Calls for good governance have become more vocal than ever, mirroring agitations for dividends of good democracy. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 News.
Moving on, RCL Safety Center, in collaboration with the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, have held an emergency response seminar. Now, the participants at the seminar were drawn from relevant agencies in disaster management as well as decision makers in the emergency and disaster management industry. Speaking to newsmen, the Chief Executive Officer of RCL Safety Center, Joe Odoa, stressed the importance of safety in the workplace as well as knowledge of disaster management.
This event pretty much is to sensitize the general public on the essence of valuing our lives, is on sensitizing the Nigerian public on the essence of industrial safety. It's no news anymore that there are incidents every day in this country, from building collapse to road accidents to fire incidents in markets, in public areas. It's about time that people learn what to do, how to do, when to do when such happens.
Aware of what the emergency responders are up to. So by the time you see a responder trying to get to the scene of incident, somebody is now trying to block the way. The more you blow siren, the more people block their way instead of having the right of way. And so in Nigeria, we have not started as prosecuting those who are blocking the way for emergency responders. And secondly, also, when you get to the scene of the incident, you see that the people move in, trying to take pictures, videos, and so on and so forth. They want to be the first to pass the information, and so the cordoning off of that area, which is the responsibility of the security agencies. You may not even find the security agencies around that area.
The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reiterated his stance to promote peaceful coexistence as well as justice and truth in the state. Speaking on the report of the state's #EndSARS panel, Sanwo-Olu said the state will release a white paper on the report of a judicial panel set up to investigate the shooting of unarmed protesters by Nigerian soldiers and police at the Lekki toll gate on the evening of October 20, 2020. Sanwo-Olu made the white paper disclosure on Tuesday while addressing the media on the outcome of Lekki Tollgate's panel report at the State House in Alausa, Ikeja. The governor also revealed that there were plans to organize a historic peace walk in December as part of measures to foster harmony in the state and the country in general.
I'll start by saying that we, as an administration, are determined that the next steps that will be taken in this process of coming to terms with the event of October 2020 must bring closure to a painful episode in the history of our state with the release of a white paper later today. This, in my view, is a moment that beckons for us to define who and what we are as a people. To be a center of excellence, we must be a center of truth. To be a smart city, we must be a just one. To be a prosperous state, we must establish ourselves as a peaceful entity. And to achieve the greater Lagos of our dreams, we must learn to live in harmony, even amidst inevitable disagreement in times like this. With anger and animosity too quick and fast at hand, it is easy to hide behind our own prejudices, treating them as deeper truths instead of the superficial lies that they are. It is far too easy to take sides and to choose emotion over facts, even when the truth is to be found in the shades of nuance. It is easy to choose darkness over light, to take perverse delight in playing unhelpful games of cynicism and suspicion, to cling to beliefs that do not carry the weight of verifiable evidences. To become a champion of prejudices is to own a fleeting and a false victory. It is a victory of rancor over reason, of vengeance over justice, of hunger over compassion. Today, I stand before you to declare that I reject this path, and I invite you all to do the same. The choice confronting us today is between restoring a greater harmony or doing a greater harm. I choose harmony over harm. As your governor, it is my task to explain why all Lagosians should join me on this path that promises a more beneficial future to all.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Messi beats Lewandowski to win record 7th Ballon d'Or. Welcome back. Now here is a reminder of some of our top stories tonight. The federal government has said the recent murder of 2 policemen in the southeast will not go unpunished. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, gave the assurance during a press conference in Lagos on Monday. Mohammed also accused the Eastern Security Network, ESN, an outfit of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, of beheading the 2 police officers. We also told you that Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has said the state will release a white paper on the report of a judicial panel set up to investigate the shooting of unarmed protesters by Nigerian soldiers and the police at the Lekki toll gate on the evening of October 20, 2020. The governor, who also called for peace, announced plans to organize a historic peace walk in December as part of measures to the healing of the state. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are at TV360 Online. Amid rising global concern over the new Omicron COVID-19 variant, the Secretary to the Federal Government and Chairman of the Presidential Steering Committee, PSC, on COVID-19, Boss Mustafa, has reassured Nigerians that government is putting in place measures to curtail the impact of the variant on the country. Mustafa, who made this known during a press briefing of the committee on Monday in Abuja, also decried the level of fake COVID-19 vaccine certificate in circulation.
The Presidential Steering Committee is aware of some travelers who have resolved to circumvent the travel protocols by providing fake COVID-19 test results, permit to travel certificates, or declaring fake vaccination status at our point of entry. The weight of the law is heavy and will come hard on these people. But if we give you the statistics of the levels of fraud and forgery that are going on with regards to the procurement and availability of certificates, either travel certificates or even vaccination certificates, you will be amazed. The vaccine mandate will come into effect fully on 1st of December 2021. And I encourage every federal government worker and in essence all Nigerians and residents to get vaccinated.
Well, more stories and business coming up right after this break. To stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's join Abisola Adebayo for the latest in the world of business. Over to you, Bisola.
Thank you very much, Falashade. Welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced that it had automated the non-commercial export form for stakeholders in the business sector. The Apex Bank, in a circular released on Tuesday, says the e-form shall replace the hard copy of the form for non-commercial exports with effect from November 30th, 2021. The circular further clarified that all authorized dealers are required to ensure that the processing of the form should only be done electronically on the Trade Monitoring System's website. According to the CBN, the e-form is web-based and allows non-commercial exporters to initiate the form from their offices or homes and submit same to the authorized dealer bank. We'll take a pause here and return with a review of the stock market. Transactions on the Nigerian Exchange Limited continued its negative trend from previous session, occasioned by losses in many blue-chip stocks, causing market capitalization to slump by 12 billion naira. Specifically, at the close of trading today, market capitalization of listed equities declined by 0.05% to close at 43,248 basis points. The market negative performance was driven by price depreciation in large and medium capitalized stocks, which was led by UPDC Real Estate Investment Trust and Ikeja Hotel. They had a combined 58 kobo loss. Moving on to our gainers list today, financial services stocks ICO and Access led the gainers list. They had a combined 47 kobo gains. Our market summary sees a total unit of 224 million units of shares valued at 3.7 billion naira, exchanging hands in 4,331 deals. Following the recent sentiment in the market, analysts say they're expecting a mixed trading pattern tomorrow, with continued profit-taking in some tickers, while also taking positions in some fundamentally sound stocks due to recent price dip. So fingers are crossed to see what the market says tomorrow. Moving on to the global scene, the FTSE, the Dow Jones and the Nikkei, they are all in the negative territory. London stocks FTSE is in the negative as investors responded to comments from Moderna's chief executive regarding the effectiveness of vaccines against the Omicron coronavirus variant. The Dow Jones, in the same vein, also sold off over 300 points on Tuesday, kicking off the final trading session of November with negative sentiments. Tokyo stocks Nikkei fell for the third straight session on Tuesday, with the Nikkei plunging over 5% in 3 days on renewed concern over the effectiveness of existing vaccines for the Omicron variant of the coronavirus. That's all on Stock Market Review. Over to Falashade for the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks, Abisla, for that update. On the foreign scene, Uganda's army has launched joint air and artillery strikes against the Allied Democratic Forces rebel group in eastern Congo. The country's defense spokesperson revealed that the attacks were carried out with Congolese allies against ADF camps, but did not give details on the areas they have been conducted. Ugandan authorities blame the ADF, which is affiliated to the so-called Islamic State, for a series of bomb attacks in the country since October. This comes weeks after 4 civilians were killed when suicide bombers detonated their explosives at 2 locations in Uganda's capital. Away from the foreign scene now to the sporting scene, Lionel Messi won the men's Ballon d'Or award for a second record-extending 7th time at a ceremony in Paris on Monday. Messi won the last edition of the Ballon d'Or in 2019 before last year's award were cancelled due to the pandemic. He also won through 2009 and 2012 as well as in 2015. The 34-year-old secured 38 goals in 48 games last season for Barcelona and won the Copa del Rey before leading Argentina as captain to Copa America glory in July. Prolific Bayern Munich striker Robert Lewandowski finished second, and Chelsea and Italy midfielder Jorginho came third in the voting. And that's it on our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Falashade. Ogurinde. Bye for now.